Hi guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today we're going to be playing with the Bouquet Full of Joy from Spellbinders. This is the Glimmer of the month for October. It's got this fun bow, glimmers up the bow, and it die cuts it out nicely. And then we've got a bouquet here that's got poinsettias and some berries and things. And then we've also got 3 sentiment dies that give the look, yes, the look of wax seals. So we will be glimmering those up and then cutting them out and then applying them to our card to look like we've got a wax seal, which also means you could do the same card and use an actual wax seal. So we may do that later on when I'm working with the wax seal of the month. But for now, we're going to be working with the glimmer of the month. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have my glimmer system off to the side, heated up, and I've got a piece of cardstock here. I'm going to try this on some shimmer cardstock that I have. I'm thinking it should work fine, but this is just some shimmer cardstock I have in my stash that I got from Michael's. Haven't really used it much. I'm going to go ahead and place my bouquet down. Kind of want it, I think I want a little off center. And then if some of it gets cut off, that is totally fine. Because I think I'm also going to add an additional sentiment. I'm going to go ahead and let that heat up and get out some hot foil. The foil I'm going to use today, I figure I'll go ahead and just use some gold. I do love the gold, and this one is the matte gold, so we'll go ahead with that one. Don't think I've used this one so far. So I'm going to put my hot foil, my glimmer foil down on the cardstock. There we go. I also want to look and see where my tick marks are. I have some tick marks on there to let me know kind of where I want to place my cardstock. And we're placing the foil on there with shiny side down. And the AC's catching again like it always does. The reason that we're doing it shiny side down is we want the foil to actually be facing away from our cardstock. Regardless of how you're doing your foil, you're going to always want the foil to be facing away from the cardstock, so that it's going to have that shininess on the top. When it comes to glimmer foil or hot foil, this silver side here is actually the adhesive. So let's go ahead and add this on again before it has a chance to try to blow away. And I'm going to go ahead and put my spacer pad and thin shim. The thin shim is heat resistant, so that goes on first. Then I'll put my spacer pad on, and I'm going to hit the timer. So once the timer goes off, we'll be able to run this through our die cutting machine. So I'm now going to just crank that right on through my Platinum 6. Okay, so looking at this, we can see that impression, so it does look like there has been some transfer, so that is good. I'm going to just let this cool a little bit, because there's always a chance that we didn't leave it on quite long enough. Sometimes the larger plates need a little longer. So let's let it cool. I think that should be good, and let's take a look. That turned out perfect. Love that one. Okay, so now we've got that pretty image there. I'm going to go ahead and take my glimmer plate off, let that one cool, and we're going to go ahead and put on the wax seals. I decided I'm going to do those in this dark red cardstock, so we're just placing that on our platform, make sure it's plugged in, and we're going to hit the timer and put the plates back on. So for the next piece, which is our little bow, I've taped it into place on top of some of that matte gold cardstock and made sure that the tape is not just adhered to the foil, but also to the cardstock. Now, anywhere that there is tape might get some transfer of the foil, but that's okay because we're going to be die cutting out this bow. So we're going to run that through with our little faux wax seals. And let's take a look at those. And those look pretty good. There was a bit of overfoiling on there, but I should be able to take care of that with just an eraser. We'll go ahead and put this one through, do the same thing. So I'm placing it on the surface of my glimmer system, the metal piece down. So it's like this. And we're just going to hit the timer button and wait for that to get ready to go. So I'm just going to grab a rubber eraser to start erasing some of that, and we're basically just rubbing some of it off. Now, if you need to, you can use a sand eraser to remove more of the excess, but this is taking care of most of it. Let's go ahead and run this through. And look at that lovely bow. Now we need to just die cut those pieces out. So when you're doing, when you are die cutting out things that you foiled, you want to avoid the actual foil because that could remove some of, or kind of remove some of the shine. It can dull it. So you can see I put the tape on to hold the die in place, but it is off to the side. It does not go over any of the image. I'm going to do the same thing with my bow here. Let's get that lined up. Okay, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and run both of those through my die cutting machine and get those pieces cut out. And that bow is just perfect. Love it. Okay, I'm going to die cut these other pieces out and then we can start assembling our card. So I decided this white, it looks fabulous just plain white, but I decided I wanted it to be more colorful. So I'm going to add some color just with my alcohol markers. It does not in any way harm your foil. So this is definitely an alternative for you guys. I mean, you guys have seen me do this before, I'm sure. I've done a lot of foil, love my foil, and I love adding a little bit of color to that too. So just using my Spectrum Noir markers, these are kind of smallish images, so it doesn't really need a lot. I'm probably going to come in with a darker red though to add a little bit of shadow and shading in some areas on my little poinsettias, and probably do the same kind of thing with the berries and the leaves. And there we go. So let's go ahead and get this put onto a card. I trimmed down my main panel and I'm adding on some glitter cardstock. I'm going to do that to the edges of my card here. And then I'm going to pop up this main panel right in the center there. So it's going to give that red border along the edges. That's going to be pretty. So I'm going to line that up at the top of my A2 size top folding card base. There we go. Looks pretty good. And now I can add my little bow and add my sentiment. So I did kind of change my mind. Originally my idea was to add an additional sentiment, but I figured For You was perfect, and I could always add something additional on the inside. This is also be great to add. You could basically put this on the front of your one of your packages, along with a cute little note and everything for a recipient of a gift at Christmas time. So let's go ahead and put that right there. So that's going to finish up this video where I'm using the Glimmer of the Month Bouquet of Joy to make a sweet Christmas card. You guys have a wonderful day. Be sure to check out this playlist to see more videos where I'm using Spellbinders products, and I will talk to you soon. Bye guys.